Hey guys, this is a quick review of the EV Evolve portable column system. I love these speakers so much that I bought 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. I have been a mobile DJ for 22 years, and prior to purchasing the EV Evolve system, I was rocking QSC K10s and K12s, in this case K10.2s. So these at the time were the industry standard speakers for mobile DJs. I do still love them, but after following a recommendation from a DJ company owner friend of mine, I bought my first set of EV Evolve 50s, and I have not looked back since and went ahead and just purchased my second pair because they sound incredible and they are a much easier solution to solve all the different problems that I run into on weddings. So I will show you why that is as we open these guys up and I show you what's inside the box. So first we're going to open up the bottoms and then the tops. So opening up the bottom, we have our instruction manual, a power cable, pop the lid off, and here is the bottom. Let's take it out. There she is. This is what the bottom looks like before you put in the column array. And on the back, what you have is your master volume, and then you have 2 line mic inputs, so you can plug in both 1/4 inch or XLR and adjust those volumes independently here. So it's like you have your own little mixer on the back of this thing. And then finally, you have an auxiliary in and also Bluetooth. Now I will mention, while I absolutely love these speakers and I definitely recommend them, I have noticed that the Bluetooth is not good enough for me to rely on comfortably, and the aux in can be fiddly. I've had it kind of cut out sometimes, and I just kind of fiddle with the inputs and it works again. So when I'm DJing something like a wedding, I typically use a cable that adapts and lets me plug into the XLRs so that I can just make sure it sounds great, and it always does. So let's put in the tops. Aside from how great these things sound, this is going to be my favorite part about this. When you take these poles out, you'll see that there's like a kind of a metal part here. That's where the signal gets transmitted up to the column array. So this is how fast your setup is going to be one-handed. Pop this in, take this top, pop that on, and you're done. Like 2 seconds to assemble this. No speaker stand, no heavy lifting. By the way, this is super light. So I have a bad back from DJing for so many years, and this doesn't hurt me at all. So if you struggle with lifting heavy speakers on top of poles, no more. Thanks to these super light column array speakers. And there are many to choose from. Of course, I think Bose did it first, and there's JBL has a pair, and I haven't really tried those other ones. I've watched video reviews of those other ones, but I just went with my friend's recommendation on these EVs, and holy cow, they sound fantastic. 2 of these on a wedding up to 150 people is perfect. People love the sound. One thing to be aware of is that the sound distribution, I guess it would be called, is just like a super wide radius. So you can be standing like to the side and even a bit behind these speakers, and it's super, super loud and crystal clear. Not the case with these QSCs, which have their own application. So if, for example, I'm DJing in such a space where I really don't want to be getting blasted by sound, I would need to make sure these are out in front of me in order to not go deaf, because they're super loud. And with these, since these are much more directional, they can be kind of more to my side and just, they're not going to go like completely sideways and even backwards with the sound. So that's much better. Now there's 2 hacks with these. Let me show you. The first one is a furniture dolly. So say you are DJing a wedding and you just finished the cocktail hour and you're moving over to the dinner area, and your dance party is in a separate room, and you didn't pack 4 speakers, so you need to move this speaker over. Well, if you put a furniture dolly right under here, you can just drag this thing. As long as you're not going up and down stairs or anything like that, it's just super easy to wheel it around, which obviously you cannot do if you've got a pair of speakers on a tripod. Once I discovered that, that was a huge game changer, because one of the most difficult things for me on weddings is just making sure that I always know that I'm going to have speakers in all the places. Sometimes you need a speaker for ceremony, then a separate speaker for cocktail hour, then a separate for dinner, and a separate pair of speakers for the dance party area. And I'm able to do, in fact, I just did a wedding that had all 4 of those locations, and all I brought were 2 EV Evolves on dollies, and every time I switched from one space to the next space, I started up the next space with speaker B, and then I dollied speaker A over to the 3rd space. So that by the time the 3rd event, so ceremony, then cocktail, then dinner. Once dinner starts, the speaker from ceremony is at dinner. Once dancing starts, the speaker from cocktail hour is at dancing. And then once dancing is officially begun, I have the speaker in the dance party already going. And as people are kind of shuffling in, I really quickly try to get ahead of them with the speaker from the dinner hour or hours and bring that speaker into the dance party. And then the last step is that I have a Bluetooth speaker, a pair of Bluetooth speakers rather, these little Bose guys. And I just sync these to my phone, and I leave these in the, say, cocktail hour area or dinner hour area as I'm moving from one to the other, so that there's still music playing. It's obviously not very loud, but it just makes sure that it's not like awkwardly silent in the room as I'm dollying the other speaker out. Okay, now bonus hack number 2 is this stereo XLR female to 1/8 inch headphone adapter. Plus, in my case, since my phone is USB-C and doesn't have a headphone jack, this USB-C to 1/8 inch adapter. So you plug this into the adapter, and then you plug these into the back of the speakers. And there you have it. You have the ability to just plug your phone or your iPad into this and run your cocktail hour. And another cool hack is that this handle area is a perfect place to put your phone. So if you may want to cover it with something like maybe a white napkin or something, so that people don't think, oh, somebody needs to have their phone returned to the lost and found or something. But anyway, so as far as like a cocktail hour, like normally in the past DJs had like a whole station for cocktail hour, but in this case all you need is your EV Evolve 50 and your adapter, and you put your phone right here and cover it with a napkin and leave it playing on Spotify. I turn my phone onto airplane mode and download the Spotify playlist. That way if somebody calls me, the phone doesn't ring and interrupt what's playing. And because it's download, the music just plays straight through. I haven't had any issues. I totally love Spotify for that reason, and many others. So that's hack number 2. Here's a bonus hack, number 3. By the way, just a reminder, the reason I recommend doing this is just because I've had issues with these inputs before. I kind of feel like it's okay, but if I would just have one of these on standby, because I have a long 1/8 inch to 1/8 inch cable that I use, and of course I have tons of 1/8 inch to RCA cables, and it's this port that I've had issues on with at least one of these speakers. So I just feel a lot more safe and comfortable with the XLRs. I've never had any issues with the XLRs. So this comes with a power cable that's probably maybe 3 feet long, but what I recommend is one of these 20 to 25 foot Edison cables. So that way you're just rocking one cable. You don't have to get an extension cord to plug this thing into the wall. So I did want to show you the cable that it came with. I just measured this. It's a little over 5 feet long. So it definitely is good enough if your speaker is going right next to the wall. So this is how we plug it in, obviously. We've got the port on the back. And with Edison cables, it's kind of like got this rounded part. So that goes in the bottom. and then the switch here. So O, the circle is off and the line is on. So we're turning it on. And then a few seconds later, the screen comes up, and there's some things you can do with this screen. So if you press this in, you can go to different modes. So you can select live, music, speech, club. I go with live because I read something somewhere that recommended that for DJs. And then you can adjust your sub level, and you can adjust your master volume. So if, for example, you're rocking a wireless lav mic or handheld microphone, and you're plugging it directly in here without a mixing board, and you've turned the volume all the way up, but you still need more gain, you have a master gain here, so you can get a lot more headroom that way. So that's really nice. Then obviously, whether you're doing some kind of auxiliary input here, or you're doing your microphone ins, or you're taking a signal from your DJ console, you have the additional ability to raise and lower the volume here. So for both ceremony and cocktail hour, and even dinner, if you want, you can skip your DJ setup and just plug directly into this and play music off of a device like a phone. So until the point where you need to beat match your music, this covers you. Then additionally, say you have a videographer who's like, hey, I need to take a signal. You have a through and you have a mix out. So the mix out is going to be affected by how you set your volumes. And this is also great if you want to daisy chain a pair of speakers. So if you're kind of set up in the corner and you don't want to run cables from all the way where you are to the second speaker, you can just run cable from this speaker to the second speaker. So many great things to say about this. I am in my apartment right now, so I'm not going to blast music out of this. I just can't do it justice. But what I can do is put a link in the description to some of my recent DJ events, so you can see just how great these things are. Another thing to point out is while the tops do come with a handy carrying case, the cover for the bottoms is sold separately. So you definitely want to pick one of these up. You can open up this to get access to this handle, and you automatically have the ability to grab those handles, and this thing pops on and off very easily, just like that. So I'd say this is a absolute must-have to just make sure that your speakers continue to look beautiful as they sound beautiful. So finally, we could just dive into the instruction manual a little bit and show off some of the specs. Here's your table of contents. So let's go over to System Features. Here's one thing to point out is that you have a way to monitor the levels of all three of your different inputs, 1, 2, and 3. So here's the technical data for those of you who are techies. For me, the most important thing I'm looking here is the wattage. So this is a 1000 watt system. And here is the frequency response. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is my favorite speaker, the EV Evolve 50. And one thing I can say is I have tried the RCF equivalent to the EV Evolve 50s. And I will say that those also sound fantastic. The one thing I know is that they are more expensive. So I'm also going to say one of the additional reasons I recommend the EV Evolve 50s is for their value. I have very high standards. I only buy what I consider to be like some of the best equipment. And I feel that these are absolutely, stellar. Like these sound fantastic. These are like the Mercedes of speakers. Are they the Bentley of speakers? I don't know, but definitely they're in that Mercedes, BMW, really high quality sound and really easy to use, not complicated at all. In fact, one thing about the RCFs is the RCF speakers, and this can be a good thing or a bad thing, but the tops actually can swivel easily. You can just kind of like jiggle them left or right. These are fixed. I prefer the fixed because I just want to set it and forget it. I don't want to have to worry. I've actually been on a gig with RCF speakers where like the top started migrating to the side and I had to keep going out and adjusting it. So that was because the ground was slightly not level, so it was like tilting the speaker over the top, that is. So anyways, I think these were beautifully designed with mobile DJs, wedding DJs, and bands in mind. And I give it 5 out of 5 stars. The only thing that I am not a huge fan of on these is the aux input section, which I have had issues with the Bluetooth. I don't even try the Bluetooth anymore because it just didn't work the first time I tried it. And like it was cutting in and out. And then this has always worked for me, and this has been a little bit hit or miss. But I found a really easy workaround, which was to just get the adapter and go straight into the line mic inputs. And who knows, maybe I just got like the one speaker from their lineup that wasn't amazing when I tried that out. But it didn't matter to me, because what I really wanted was all the other stuff that I'm getting out of these. Portability, great sound quality, ease of use, and just enough flexibility on the back to where, you know, I've got these 2 inputs. That's all I'm really going to need on a wedding. I'm good. Eevee also has another version of this that has a bigger mixing panel on the back. I thought about getting it, but I've been totally happy with these. And when I went to go and get my second pair, I went with the same ones. I didn't feel the need to upgrade. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, these are the Eevee Evolve 50s. I absolutely love them. I highly recommend them. And happy DJing, everybody, or music making if you're a musician. Take care.